John 5:39 to 40 says, "You search and keep on searching and examining the scriptures because you think that in them you have eternal life. And yet it is those very scriptures that testify about me. And still you are unwilling to come to me so that you may have life." I want to read that again. "You search and keep on searching and examining the scriptures because you think that in them you have eternal life. And yet it is those very scriptures that testify about me. And still you are unwilling to come to me so that you may have life." We receive life in Jesus when we come to Jesus. There was a time in my life when I wouldn't pray much, but I used to read the Bible a lot. And I remember very well how I used to feel. I used to feel remarkable when I was done reading. And I used to feel like, wow, I'm getting closer to God as I do this, which is true. I don't deny that at all. But my focus, my attention was all on how much of the word have I read today. It was not so much on have I met the Lord today, even through the word, and by waiting in his presence, And so here, Jesus is saying, the scriptures testify about me, about Jesus, and you're still unwilling to come to me so that you may have life. When we're going through tough times, we tend to, if we're in the practice of doing this, we go into the Word, we look for scriptures that match what we're going through. We read it, we're encouraged. But what really sets us free or helps us stay on the right path and still experience peace in our hearts and be able to persevere through anything is by meeting with the Lord himself, just being quiet in his presence, just being still and knowing that he is the Lord. And so while we dig into the scriptures and we get into the habit of reading the word and all that every day, which is great, let us not forget that what the scriptures are trying to say to us is Jesus is the answer. Be with Jesus. Jesus gives us life. Which also reminded me, as I was meditating on this, that I asked myself this question, what is eternal life? We all know John 3:16. We say it over and over again. We hear it everywhere. We see signs and posters. And it all says the same thing. It says, he died so that we may have eternal life. And so I grew up thinking that eternal life is something that I will be able to get in the future someday after I die, right? Not now, but only later. But the word says that this is eternal life, that they may know you are the only true God, and in the same manner know Jesus as the Christ whom you have sent. John 17:3. This is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and in the same manner know Jesus as the Christ whom you have sent. Knowing Jesus is experiencing eternal life here and now. And again, 1 John 5:12, he who has the Son has the life. He who does not have the Son of God does not have the life. 1 John 20 says, and we know that the Son of God has come and has given us understanding, so that we may know him who is true, and we are in him who is true, in his Son Jesus Christ. This is the true God and eternal life. This, knowing of Jesus Christ more deeply, is eternal life. We're not really living true life, and it all feels like such a drag, a waste, if we're not really experiencing Jesus. John 4:14 says, "But whoever drinks the water that I give him will never be thirsty again. But the water that I give him will become in him a spring of water, satisfying his thirst for God, welling up, flowing, bubbling within him to eternal life." It's an experience. The way that I am, seeing it is we experience it now and into the future. It just keeps growing, keeps bubbling up within us. We have to allow God to satisfy this thirst, this longing in our hearts. And even if we try saying, okay, I think I'm full now, I think I'm good to go for a couple of days without him or without this, just watch what happens if we do that. Very quickly, we'll be thirsty again, because we're not meant to go without him. We're not meant to go thirsty. Our souls need Jesus. This is all I wanted to say. Today I've been thinking a lot about eternal life and about how it is God who, Jesus himself said in John, right, that I say all these things to you so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. That is a good reminder for me every day, even when, I have really long days or tiring days, whatever. I have to keep reminding myself of this, that I need to quench this longing in my heart with Jesus alone. Only he can do that. This is eternal life.